Uh-oh, my request to join button isn't up there yet.
That's okay. I'll send it over. Hello, everyone. Happy Thursday. I hope you guys are having an amazing week so far. I'm just getting set up here on Facebook and Instagram. And as usual, you guys know the darting back and forth is due to the two cameras. So I'm here on the computer on Facebook, and I'm also streaming on my phone on Instagram. So welcome, welcome. Hey, Octavia, I see you in here.
Hey, hey.
Hey, Loverman, thank you for joining. Come on in, come on in. Happy Thursday. I feel as though I have not seen you guys in such a long time, although I was only missing for a week. If you guys are joining for the first time, I want to tell you guys welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm Janice Patterson, founder of JAM Consulting, where we help aspiring entrepreneurs get clear on their visions, create clear-cut business goals, and implement action plans to launch successful businesses. I am going to go ahead and mute. I was having a feedback there, but we should be good to go now. So thank you guys so much for joining us here tonight. Tonight is going to be a special night. I have something super nice in store for you guys. I am going to go ahead on Instagram, and I have a special guest here with us tonight. So Miss Octavia Brooks will be joining us tonight. I'm actually going to connect her into Instagram in just a few minutes. We are connected here on Facebook, which is great. And we should be good to go. Octavia, thank you so much for joining us here tonight. Guys, 1 week went by and it feels as though it's been forever. Sorry I had to miss out on last week, but Janice took some well-needed rest. I took a week off to sort of rejuvenate and come back fresh and ready to deliver some awesome stuff for you, or to you rather. Uh, can you guys believe we are already in the second quarter? Isn't that crazy? The first quarter literally just flew by. And I know sometimes we'll get discouraged if we feel as though we haven't met, our first quarter goals or accomplished all the things that we want to accomplish. But tonight, Miss Octavia is here to tell us a little bit different. Hey, Octavia, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing great.
Awesome. I'm so
Thanks
happy
a
you were
lot for
actually
having me.
able to join us here tonight. Thank you so much for joining.
My pleasure. I'm really
Thank
happy to
you.
be
Thank
here.
you. So usually we are on each Thursday, but last week I actually took some time off. So I was actually away. I actually went to Vegas last week, which was really, really nice. I had a chance to get plenty of rest. Plenty, plenty. I haven't really taken a vacation in about a year. And I've sort of been in just full work mode. So that official vacation was definitely needed. I had a chance to see a Jabberwocky show, which was really nice. And I was actually really impressed with their social distancing. So they actually skipped every row, and they had one family per row. So that was really nice. I felt comfortable being at the show. I actually visited the Grand Canyon. That was really nice as well. Did a day trip there. I think I posted some photos of the Grand Canyon, but I don't remember. I know I posted the show for sure. I ate a lot, which was awesome. I had really good food. And most importantly, I had the opportunity to sleep. Oh my gosh, I needed to sleep. I did a lot of that. So I'm really happy to be back with you guys here tonight. So last month, we actually spoke a lot about growth mindset, not growth mindset, I'm sorry, personal growth and self development. And I thought it was like perfect to just dive right into the mindset stuff. So Miss Octavia here, I'm going to just give you guys like a quick, brief introduction, but I'm going to give her the opportunity to really go deep and talk about who she is and what it is that she specializes in. So Octavia is a mindset coach, and I know you guys hear me throw the word mindset out all the time, but that's because it is just so, so important. And it's important whether you are entrepreneur, whether you are in business, just in your life in general, that mindset and always working on your mindset it absolutely matters. It matters whether you're poor, and it matters whether you're a millionaire. In fact, your mindset is kind of what differentiates the two. So, Miss Octavia, I am going to give you the opportunity to just hop in and tell us a little bit about what it is that you do. Hey, Ryan, I see you joining us. Hey, Cheryl, thank you for joining us. We're just talking about mindset, and you guys really haven't missed much. So you guys hopped in at the right time. So if you guys have questions or comments, feel free to go ahead and just drop them in the comment section. Hi, Miss Octavia, go ahead and take it away.
Well, thank you so much for having me on here, Janice. It's just a pleasure to be able to be here with your community, and this is one of my all-time favorite topics. I call myself a success mentor, intuitive success mentor, and my areas of specialty are helping people improve their relationships or recover from a heartbreak or a broken relationship. So I also call myself an emotional intuitive. But really, when I listen to my clients speaking, I'm listening to the things they unconsciously tell me, which gives me clues to some things that are going on in their psychology, in their subconscious mind, which tells me a lot about why they have a life the way they have it. A lot of times we just don't really like what's happening in our lives, and we don't know why it's happening. And so when you meet with somebody like me who can listen to you talk, we get those insights into why your life is showing up the way it is. And this ties right into the mindset topic, because we create our lives from our thoughts, which create our emotions. There's like this cascading effect, and a lot of it is sort of not conscious. So when we actively practice conscious mindset practices, that's when we really start to have control over our lives, our emotions, and therefore the results and the outcomes that we start to get.
Right.
You agree?
Ms. Octavia, it kind of sounds kind of sound like a therapist. Would you would you consider yourself to be a therapist?
Oh, thanks for that question. I have a lot of respect for that profession, and I have utilized those services quite a bit for myself. And the practice, what I have heard from clients and people that have gone to therapy for years at a time, is that it's a very, very slow process. And then I've also heard some people say that they might not really be getting their deeper needs met from that. And so I'll have clients come to me after they've been to years of therapies going, well, it knocked back my anxiety, but I still can't sleep. Or, I have a little bit better health, but I still don't feel like the underlying issues are being solved. And then that's where I can go in with my intuition and my energy healing practices, which are indigenous. And I can see really deeply into people and resolve the fundamental issue that's happening. And we'll talk about that a little bit more as we go through the talk today, what I mean by like a root cause.
Awesome,
So
awesome.
that's
So
how
we're
I'm
talking
different than
about.
therapists. Excuse me for interrupting. It's like I
Oh, no, no,
accelerate
no,
the
that's
healing
fine.
process.
That's fine. So we're talking about mindset, but what exactly is this mindset thing?
Oh, this is something I wanted to discuss with you because I want to hear what your thoughts are about that. Why don't you
So,
lead off
so
and tell me, and then I'll
So
chime in.
for me, when I think about mindset, I think about my practices, my belief system, the things that I do on a daily basis to sort of get going, to stay motivated, the way that I think, the positives versus the negative, whether I'm thinking opti optimistically or whether I'm thinking as a pessimist. And for me, that's kind of what mindset encompasses.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's a great definition. And I love that you brought in your daily practices around that, because there's so much about sandwiching our day between a morning practice and an evening practice that it starts to program our subconscious mind to be in alignment with our conscious mind. Because this is the big problem, is that what we want consciously our subconscious might be fighting against us all the way. And so over time with mindset practices, you can begin to transform the subconscious and turn it into an ally for you, which means that you just have all this like really easy motivation. Everything is just so much easier to do. You're not fighting against yourself.
Right.
So mindset is a big, I kind of think of mindset as it's like the Westerners' term for what Eastern meditation calls controlling the monkey mind. And the monkey mind is when you've got that like so much yammering and chattering. It could be negative, it could be positive. It's just so much mental noise that you can hardly focus in that. Like, how are you supposed to remember what your priorities are? How are you supposed to, and I know you being a mom and juggling so many things, I imagine if you did not have a mindset practice, you would not get anything done, girl.
That is absolutely true. That is absolutely true.
Like, no way.
So one of the things that I'm always talking about on my live sessions is my daily to-do list. And if I don't take the time out to actually write the things down that I have to get done on a daily basis, in addition to, having the bigger goals written out, there's just so much going on that I can't function. I get lost, stuff get, left by the wayside. So it's practices like those that kind of really help me to stay the course.
Yeah, because you can tell yourself in your morning practice, I'm going to be focused today. I'm going to be pleasant to other people. I'm going to be the person I want to be today. And then over time, that happens more and more and more throughout your day. What you tell yourself you're going to be in the morning through the course of your day is more and more how you show up over the course of your day. Mindset is incredibly powerful. And I like to think about it expands our thinking too, because like you mentioned, and we'll talk about this a little bit more too, we have our belief systems. We'll talk about where our belief systems come from and the pros and cons of our belief systems, because there's a lot of negativity in a lot of our belief systems too that we try to overcome, especially, oh my God, especially when we're starting to go into a business that is something we really, really care about. We are just confronted with our own internal limitations on a daily basis. And mindset is one of those things that can kind of be a saving grace to help you navigate through that.
And the craziest thing is that a lot of times we don't even recognize that, it's those things that are preventing us from getting to the next level. We may think that it's something more physical, we don't have the money, or we don't have the resources that we need. But a lot of times, it's 90% of the time, it's not the resources, it's not the money. It's really just your way of thinking. Because once you start to shift your way of thinking, those things, the universe starts to naturally provide the things that you need.
Yeah. One of my teachers, Mary Morrissey, has something for that, especially for people that, oh, my dream is too big, or I don't have the resources, or I can't get that done. Her philosophy is do what you can with what you have. And
minimal viable product.
Just keep moving forward, because that is your signal to the universe. Come partner with me. Look, I'm doing the best I can here. Please, universe, divine, however you identify with that, please come and partner with me. Really, really, it helps you keep moving.
The universe listens.
Say again?
I said the universe actually listens.
It does. It does. And it listens to the positive and the negative.
Yes,
if we're repeating the negative, we get more negative, right?
Yes. I hope you guys got that. If you don't have your pen and your paper, y'all better go get your pens and your papers and write this down. It absolutely listens to the positive and the negative. So we got to be careful of our thoughts and the things that we're saying. Absolutely. I love that.
Do what you can with what you have, and that's how you partner with the universe. It's so, so important.
Amen.
So why do we have this negative thinking? What do we have that for?
So sometimes I feel as if it's it's not necessarily purposeful, but a lot of times these are the things that we've learned. A lot of times these are the things that we grew up around and the things that we hear. So when you don't know better, it's hard to do better, right? But when you know better, you start to do better, and then you start to see the changes. But
Yeah,
if so I think naturally we all have negative thinking,
it's very
but it's
natural.
but it's really what you do with it. It's really whether or not you act on that negative thinking. It's really whether or not you decide that I want to change that. I know that this isn't right. I know that there's a better way of thinking, and I'm going to actually take the actions that are necessary to make the changes and start to shift my way of thinking.
Hmm.
What do you think?
Oh, why we have negative thinking? Everything you said is the same thing I agree with. I think there's the whole like family context and whether your family was positive or negative. There's oh my gosh, we get so much negativity and negative feedback in our education system. You know, we get so much negativity and we're so sensitive to that. Peer pressure, you know, we're supposedly the sum of the five people around us. So if we spend a lot of time with people who are negative, it's very, very hard to stay positive. And I actually think it's part of our culture. Some cultures have more positivity and some cultures have more negativity. And I think our culture, if you look at what's on the news, the proportion of positive to negative in any given news program is, I mean, what is it, 90% negative and 10% positive? So it's part of our culture. And I'll tell you something else that probably people here don't know. The chemicals that flow through our systems when we have negative emotions. So we have a thought that's negative. Like it's very classic for people to feel like I'm not worthy or I'm not good enough, right?
Mm-hmm.
We lack in confidence. Very common underpinning of the reason why we procrastinate, for example.
Mm-hmm.
If we start thinking, well, I'm not worthy, and then we start going into fear thinking and fear emotions, and we go into depression, all of that type of stuff, there is a actually proven biochemistry that floods our body under those circumstances. Very unhealthy for our bodies. Just like we all know that stress, you know, biochemically is bad for our bodies. Well,
Right.
what is stress is thinking I've got too much to do. I got too much to do. I can't get it all done. I'm overwhelmed. It's very similar to fear. And
Right.
so those are the biochemicals that we have flowing in our bodies. And there's a level of addictiveness to those. We become so accustomed. In my family, it was worry about everything. Worry. Oh my God, it's taken me decades to finally dig myself out of the worry habit.
Right.
And it still comes back and bites me in the butt every now and then.
And it will.
And it creates like I'm so sensitive now that if I go back into worry, I notice how my body feels and I feel like crap. And so I have disconnected from my addiction to worry, hopefully, so that when I get those chemicals now, I'm like, oh no,
Uh-huh.
everything's fine. I'm not going there. I'm not going to let my mind take me down that negative pathway. But I want people here to know part of the reason it's so difficult, and we're going to go into this, well, I don't think it's exactly on the list, but why is it so difficult to go into positive thinking? It's some of it is literally biochemical, and some of it is our subconscious. We might not, like you were saying earlier, we could be consciously aware of some of our thoughts,
Right.
but we are not always consciously aware of all of our thoughts. And so that's why it's really good to pay attention to your body. And how am I feeling? Oh, if I'm feeling crappy, can I consciously identify what was the fleeting thought that went through my mind before I started feeling anxious or sad or depressed in my body, before I start feeling heavy? if you can identify that thought, that is something really important to pay attention to.
Absolutely. And I know it kind of sounds simple just to say, pay attention and identify, but we completely understand that this is a process and it takes time for you to actually develop those skills to be able to tell when a particular thing is what's causing the negative thoughts to come in. And it takes even more time to develop the skills of being able to flush those negative thoughts out, having practices in place that you could use to be able to transition the way you think.
Yeah.
So I think it's absolutely important for you to be able to identify it.
Yeah.
So what would you say are like the biggest pros of positive thinking?
Well, we've touched on a whole lot of it. I mean, imagine if you were having so few of those floods of negative chemicals in your body, you'd feel really healthy and happy all the time. You'd feel really positive. You'd feel energized, and you would feel naturally motivated to get your work done. Like you wouldn't have issues with procrastination. I had
Right.
an NLP mentor of mine tell me one time, he's like, if you ask somebody if they have a goal that they want to achieve, that's the difference between somebody who has, and everybody, people that have goals they want to achieve, and then there's people that just go and do stuff.
Right.
It's very interesting because people that have goals feel like they've got to work towards something. They have to overcome things. People that just want to get something done, they don't even really think of it as a goal. They just go and do it.
They get it
And
done.
so that's what, they don't have any resistance. They have no procrastination. It doesn't need to be a goal because they're just making stuff happen. And that's the difference between, having the resistance of the negative thinking, even if it's in the subconscious, creating those internal conflicts that show up like, I can't focus, I'm constantly distracted, I'm procrastinating, I can't figure out what my priorities are. Those are some of the symptoms we have when our positive thinking isn't working. So, I mean, that's the benefit. Imagine just being able to get shit done, as quick as you wanted to without any interference at all.
And even the impact that it has on your overall health, right? Because
Exactly.
now you're so much more energized and you're getting work done. You're up. You're able to take care of your body physically. You're eating better, and they all it all plays a role. And it's amazing how the body reacts when you start to do one positive thing, and then the mindset shifts, and you're working on one positive thing, and naturally it's a flow. And the universe recognizes these things and it rewards you for it. So
It
it's
does.
amazing. It's amazing.
It
So
does.
for me, positive thinking, the pros of the positive thinking for me is definitely the way how I feel, my overall health.
Yeah.
I would get migraines when I start to stress. When I start to stress and worry about, things not
Wow.
going the way how I want it to go, my migraines kick in immediately.
Wow. That is so huge. Wow.
Yeah.
There it is. Like it's almost a life or death thing for you,
It,
almost at that level. I know
yeah.
migraines keep you in bed, like you can't do anything. So
It
you
affects my sleep. It affects the way I eat. There's a lot of times when I get sensitivity to light, so I gotta, be in the dark. It affects my mood. It affects the way how I show up for the business. It affects the way how I show up for my family. It
yeah.
affects the way how I show up for myself. So for me, it's so important to be able to constantly, stay in that positive mindset, and not just stay in it, but like you mentioned earlier, be able to identify when when I'm not doing the things that I'm supposed to be doing, and identify when I need to start taking those action items to be able to transition myself out of the space that I'm in.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Good. Well, Well, that kind of segues a little bit into what are some of the cons of mindset. You know, and nobody thinks about this. I don't know if anybody even talks about this. So imagine that you're on the edge of having a migraine and you're starting to identify, oh my goodness, I need to monitor, what am I doing right now? What am I thinking right now? So that I can turn this around and turn my ship away from the migraine and into something that is life affirming, that brings my stress levels back down, calms me down, allows me to focus and do what I need to do. And so in that moment, you're really observing yourself. So I think a lot of people who adopt mindset practices, we might go a little overboard with it. And here's what I mean by that. When if we had something difficult in childhood and we had people that didn't encourage us very well in childhood and told us, you can't be all you can be. You don't have the right to express yourself. And they oppress us in childhood. It's unfortunately very common. It's also part of childhood psychology that we kind of do it to ourselves too. That's a whole nother story, not for today's topic. But we've got these negative thoughts that are really enduring. They have been in there a long time, and they're really hard to get rid of, right? And so sometimes people will do mindset practices on top of those, like we'll go back to I'm not worthy. I have no right. I have no business charging this much. This is a really common thing for entrepreneurs, right? Oh, I'm going to give everything away for free. I don't know how to close a sale. I'm not worthy of actually receiving money for what is a passion for me, right? Big problem if you're a business owner, right? Money is a natural reciprocity and you deserve that. But let's say you've got a block to that because you never got support, the right kind of support when you were a kid. In that case, if you're trying to do mindset over that, you're actually pushing something away that needs some attention and some love. Because that part of you that's saying, no, you don't deserve, you're not worthy, it's like a childhood part of you. It's like a little kid inside you that really did not get enough love. And so imagine, like, if you're a loving person and you see a little kid, that's the last thing in the world you want to do, push that kid away and make them feel bad about themselves. In fact, sometimes we see parents treat their kids like that, and I want to hit them, but I have to just make myself leave because I can't stand it when parents treat their children like that. Well, those negative voices inside us are like the little kids inside us that need love and attention that they never got before. And to be honest, if we try to mindset over and try to tell us, no, I'm worthy, I'm confident, I'm worthy, and we basically just keep the suppression lid on ourselves. And it pops out the side. It's what happens. It just stays in our subconscious and it continues to create negative results and we never know why.
So what you're saying is basically we have to address all those things first before we start to practice the positive mindset.
I like to do them in parallel. Because we want to give the mind the right direction that we want it to go in. We want to say that, no, actually I am worthy, and maybe we can't say I'm worthy of charging $5,000, but maybe we can say I'm worthy of charging $500. So we start some way and we start convincing ourselves that we are worthy. At the same time, when we hear those thoughts, then what I recommend to people is to be loving towards yourself and to take a moment and sit down with yourself and just say, I see you. I see you, negative thought. I see you, negative emotion. And I'm here to give you a hug. We can learn so much about ourselves. And the new law of attraction movement that's coming out right now is telling us that when we resolve these deeper feelings and emotions inside ourselves, that is really what clears the pathway for the universe to operate through us. It's like
Right.
the universe and the subconscious are closer than the universe and our conscious mind.
Right.
And when we've got a bunch of junk in the trunk of our subconscious, it's the message to the universe. Our desires to the universe are getting all garbled up. They're not really getting clearly expressed to the universe of what we want.
Right.
So this is one of the ways that I like to work with my clients and say, embrace those parts of yourself. And it's not always real pretty, but here's the thing, like we've got some ugliness in our thoughts and our belief systems. More ugliness does not beget beauty. Ugliness and more ugliness begets more ugliness. So
Right.
love those parts of yourself. At the same time you're doing the positive thinking, see if you can coax and negotiate with those parts of yourself to get on board with the positive thinking, and let them tell you their story, and love them. They need that love.
I love it. I love
hate
it. So would you say that constantly embracing the negative side, because it's always going to be there. There's always going to be those negative thoughts creeping up. But would you say that constantly embracing them and addressing them would be the way to sustain a lasting positive mindset?
It takes a lot less time and energy to address them in the moment with a loving, positive attitude than it does pushing them down. They just keep coming back. There's an adage in leadership circles: what you resist persists, and what you focus on increases.
Right.
So if we're constantly saying, I don't want to worry, I don't want to worry, I don't want to worry, what am I doing?
I'm worrying.
I'm worrying about worrying.
Yeah.
So that's my recommendation to people, and I have sometimes felt like I'm doing self-care all day long, and that's when it gets a little tedious. So I do want to tell people that you can't always do everything all day long to every part of yourself. You've got to have some balance with this. You can't be doing personal process every minute of the day. It is on the road to successful entrepreneurship, and you also still need to get your business tasks done. But I can guarantee you that if you pay attention to these parts of yourself and you give them love, your business work will get a lot easier. It'll be the investment you make in self-love pays back in your motivation and your energy. 100% guaranteed.
Absolutely. Hey, sweetie. Thank you for hopping on. Hey, Fire Meeks. I see you. Fire Meeks is agreeing. She says, absolutely. Thank you guys so much for joining us here tonight. We are here talking about the importance of maintaining a positive mindset. So thank you guys so much for hopping on with us. I am here with Miss Octavia Brooks, who is my special guest for tonight. Again, I just want to say thank you for joining us. It has been great so far. If you guys have any comments, go ahead, drop them in the comment section. Comments, questions, we are completely open. So you guys don't have to wait until the end of the talk. Just go ahead and drop your comments in the comment section. So Ms. Octavia, what practice have you personally followed? And has your practice changed throughout the years of being in business and practicing mindset?
It's changed some. I always prefer myself to be a positive person. I've always been optimistic, wearing a smile and stuff like that. And part of it is because in years past, I really had some shadow side to my personality that I didn't like. And so I would try to make up for it by being a little bit extra positive. And I had good friends because of that. So, and it makes me more authentic, I think, to have both sides, not just one or the other. I studied with a leadership expert named Dak Quigley, and I studied with Mary Morrissey, and I studied with Natalie. She's from Australia. I'll think of her name later. And I do the same thing you do. I get up, I meditate every day, and I tell myself what kind of day I'm going to have. I start with gratitude. I wake up with gratitude, and I fall asleep with gratitude. And gratitude is very expansive, and it communicates to the mind what you want more of. So it's again, what you pay attention to increases. And when I wake up in the morning and I meditate, I have an energy balancing meditation that I do every day, and I connect with my spiritual guides, I connect with spirit, and I connect with my own ability to, this is kind of, I guess, a law of attraction concept, but my ability to manifest and create. And this is what I'm manifesting and creating. And I connect with that several times throughout the day. And I tell myself what kind of day I'm going to have. And if I have clients, I'm going to show up and do my best for my clients. So I kind of tell myself and program myself what kind of day I'm going to have. And then I touch base with that throughout take my little 3 minutes break every half an hour that Brendan Burchard recommends. And then at the end of the day, I finish with gratitude. And then I tell myself how I'm going to sleep. I'm going to relax every muscle in my body, and I am going to sleep soundly and peacefully, and I'm going to wake up feeling like $1,000,000.
I have never done that before.
Ooh, it's good, girl. It's good. You got to try it.
I have never tried that one before, but listen, I'm going to bed tonight and I'm trying that one, okay?
It's good. It's
and
good.
I will definitely tell you how it's working out for me. I'm going to start to try to implement that practice because I don't sleep the best every night. So I'm going to try that one.
And what I just mentioned there about noticing when I'm feeling fussy, for example, I've had in my own personal healing journey, I've had things to heal that go all the way back to my birth, like having a birth trauma and issues with my parents, even when I was a baby, way before you could speak or anything. And so at first I was able to really dialogue with those parts of me that were having they were coming up with negative thoughts and calm them down. And then it got to be kind of like a physical sort of fussiness. And that was really interesting because then I would have, if I go into that feeling, that sensation of my body, I would learn things. I was uncomfortable, like I was hungry and I need my diaper changed. And I was overheated all at the same time. And I'm having this like really horrible physical moment. And that's coming up, to try to keep me out of my flow during the day. And so I really notice anything that's keeping me out of my flow. And I'm like, okay, what's going on here? Okay, let's get back. And I'm like, okay, let's get all the team on board. So that's some insight into my practice that I use for positivity.
Now, would you say that you definitely needed a mentor or a coach to actually help you get to this point, or were you able to sort of identifying yourself and now you feel as though I got it and I don't necessarily need assistance?
Oh, girl, I've had so many mentors and coaches. I'm a big believer in guides because it's a shortcut. I mean, if you find the right mentor who fits with you and they have achieved what you want to achieve, they are worth the money, every cent of it, because they're going to save you so much time and angst. There's a lot of people that like to learn the hard way, and I understand that. I personally like to learn from other people. So, I mean, and I've needed all of that, and I've needed all of my tools that I've used on myself, the same tools I use with my clients, in order to achieve what I've achieved today, which is just a peace of mind that very few people have, and a resiliency.
Peace of mind is everything. Yes.
And resiliency, when the universe throws me a curveball, I know how to respond to that. Instead of, I know I might go into reaction, but I emphasize response. And that's something I learned from Mary Morrissey, that, a particular process when something is really hitting you hard like that. And so, I really do believe that having a mentor is best.
No, it absolutely is. And I say this all the time. My life has changed because I decided to get a mentor, right? I decided to get a coach. And a lot of times when I tell people the price that I pay, they're looking at me like, girl, you're crazy. But it has been totally worth it. I'm about to put a number out here. And again, I'll probably get feedback like you're nuts. But I paid $10,000. I had a high ticket coach and I paid $10,000. And when I tell you that that $10,000 has come around in so many different ways, it is completely worth it. Because
Yeah.
I don't think this is something that you know, you kind of just get up one day and be like, okay, I'm gonna do it, and be
Yeah.
able to actually sustain doing it. So this is like the real importance of having a coach, having a mentor who you could go to, who has been there, who has done it, who has passed that, and is at the point that you are trying to get to. So important.
It
So
is.
important.
It is. They save you so much time and effort. They can just cut years off your learning curves. And what's the price of that? And you
What is the
know,
price of that? You know what I think about a lot of times? I think about my schooling, right? So I went to school and I have 3 different degrees.
wow, girl.
And I also have hundreds of $1,000s in student debt, student
Uh,
loan debt. And
no, you're young.
I
You
just,
have no problem paying
yeah,
that
and
off.
I've just thought about how much I've learned from shortcutting with a coach and a mentor versus, you know, how much I've learned in school, and the usage of the knowledge that I gained. The knowledge that I gained from having a coach versus the knowledge that I gained in school is different. I'm utilizing the knowledge that I've gained from the coach more so than I am my formal schooling years.
Yeah, yeah. It depends on what you want to achieve in life. I mean, there's one
Absolutely.
thing. If you grew up in an entrepreneurial family, and then you kind of have mentorship built in. You have the mindset of being an entrepreneur built in. But I don't think we just pop out of our families ready to wear the 20 different hats that entrepreneurs need to wear.
Right.
And I don't think our education system, when
Teaches
I
that.
meet people who are 18, 19, 20 years old and they're contemplating whether they want to go to school or whether they want to pay for a coaching program, I ask them that question. Well, what do you want to do with your education? What do you want to accomplish? What are your
Right.
dreams in life? And I don't always recommend an academic education.
Right. And really with an academic education, you're working with someone else, right? So kind of like, do you want to work for yourself or do you want to work for someone else? Going to school is not going to necessarily teach you the necessary skills that you'll need to be able to work and own your own and maintain.
Yeah. Yeah. There can be a real disconnect between the academic field and the real world.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. This is great. This is great information. I hope you guys are enjoying this. So we have a few comments here in the comment section. So Meek says positive mind, meditation, gratitude, affirmation of self. Awesome. All awesome things. Mentorships, taking all the notes. I am so happy you're taking notes. She said the discussion is absolutely amazing. So informative. Thank you, love. Thank you. It has absolutely been great. So I know we kind of spoke about, and I think this is probably offline, we spoke about some of the practices that you've done. So do you mind sharing with everyone some of the practices that you do on a consistent basis with your clients?
Okay. Yeah. So I work with clients on mindset in almost immediately because I really believe in it. And then I also do some really deep energy healing work. I have some intuitive skills and I have the indigenous protocols that I use where I go back and I can go back and I can see where a belief system came in. Like we've been talking about, I don't feel like I'm worthy, right? I can go back and travel in time to find out where the first time was that you got that message from your parents or your environment. And then we rework that memory. And the way the indigenous protocols work, they're very similar to hypnosis and neurolinguistic programming for people that are into that kind of nerdy, psychological subconscious
Mhm.
reprogramming stuff. I'm such a nerd about that stuff. But so we go back and we rework that memory And it changes, literally physically changes the structures of your mind. Your synapses become more elastic. It's called neuroelasticity, and you have an opportunity to move in a new direction. And so our brains want to go back into familiar patterns. So if you've had an issue with this concept of worthiness for a long time, maybe a couple of decades, 2, 3, 4 decades, depending on your age, that's really reinforced in your synaptic pathways. They say that synapses that fire together wire together. And so you need to rewire your synaptic pathways to have a different attitude. And so the healing will open the door for the change, and then it needs to be reinforced. So I teach clients how to reinforce it. And so positive thinking is one of those ways, but I was going to tell you a client story that kind of ties all this together, that demonstrates one of the techniques that I recommend. And also just a quick note, because you'll see it come up in the story. The other thing that's a kind of a negative about mindset is it doesn't quite teach us how to be happy. We can think positively at the level that we know how to think positively, but we can kind of cap out. And when we're faced with some really big success, like I know that's going to happen with you, Janice, when we're faced with a really big, you're going to do a launch and you're going to suddenly have 100,000 followers and you're going to be like, oh, what's going on?
Right.
And it's going to be bigger than what you feel, not you. For most people, it would be bigger than what you can handle, and that's why the famous musicians, live a short life, and sometimes, it's really sad. They're not able. So we have a kind of a thermostat. This is I can't remember the author's name, but it's in the book called Big Leap, The Big Leap, this concept that we have a thermostat on all the different areas of prosperity and abundance. So maybe you can only have a relationship so good, or maybe you can only have so much money or career enjoyment. Maybe you can make a lot of money at one kind of job, but you can't make a lot of money doing your passion. Like, we have these internal limitations. So we have to map ourselves gradually into increasing levels of happiness and joy and pleasure.
Yeah.
So this is how I do that. This is one of my clients, and in her childhood, there was a loss in her family. She had an older brother. She was very close to him. He was much older, old enough to, when she was about 7, he was riding his motorcycle. He had a tragic accident. And he didn't die, but his personality completely changed. And so in her family, there were all the medical process, everything going on. Her parents basically kept her busy as a child, just like, oh, we're going to just keep you busy all the time so that we can focus on our son and getting him back on his feet. Well, her brother was her greatest confidant. He was the one that made her feel safe in the family. And now he was gone, but she wasn't allowed to grieve. And so she just kind of like put all that inside. And she, as the way her brain wired together, was busyness and grief, which turned into anxiety.
They go hand in hand.
And then she had a lifelong issue with anxiety. And by the time she came to me, she was having heart palpitations. And now I don't often get really dramatic health situations, people coming to me with health situations like that, but she just knew that I was the right person. When we went back and looked at that whole scenario that happened with her and her brother, how she was never able to grieve, she realized that was kind of stuck in her heart. And so she was able to have an adult conversation with his spirit and kind of resolve some of her feelings that way. In addition, because that pattern of busyness and anxiety was just so constant for her, because she was a single mom too, like it just got reinforced. And she was in her 50s by the time she came to me. What I needed to do to reinforce the healing opportunity was give her some kind of activity that she could do, that she could easily remember. And I said, okay, When you're feeling that sensation of, I got to do it, I got to do it, I got to do it, I got to rush, 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 rush. Ask yourself in that moment, what can I do to make this moment more beautiful? And you see how different that the energy is. Rush, 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 beauty. And which direction do you want to go in? Which one is more, in the direction of peace of mind? And she was able to remember this because it was so unusual. And her mind enjoyed doing it. And so it was like a reward and a reinforcement that, yes, I'm going to have more beauty, and I'm going to be able to remind myself that I don't have to rush around. That issue is resolved now, because you get these residues and the habits are still there until you completely unravel it and really transition into the new thing.
Right.
The other thing I like about that exercise is from beauty, she can go into maybe gracefulness. From gracefulness, she can go into pleasure. And then she's increasing her thermostat. She's increasing her ability to have more and more happiness in her life.
Awesome. That's amazing. I love it. And sometimes when we think about these things, we tend to think that it's something major that we have to do to kind of, break the cycle, right? But sometimes it's like the small action item, the small practices that we start to implement on a daily basis that really start to give us that turnaround.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's actually one book that I wanted to mention real quick, and it kind of ties in pretty much all of the stuff that we've been talking about. It talks about your money blueprint. It talks about your money thermostat. It's actually called Secrets of the Millionaire Mindset by T. Harv Eker. It's like one of my favorite books of all times. And after I read that book, I literally started to look at life differently. And I keep going back and reading that book constantly. One of my favorite books. So you guys should definitely check that one out.
That's a
It's
good
called,
one.
Secrets of the Millionaire Mind by T. Harv Eker.
Excellent.
So go ahead and
you got
check
some
that
hearts
one
coming on
out.
the screen. You got some other
Yes,
fans
I
of
like
that
it.
book.
I like it. So Simone said, amen. Hey, Remy, thank you for joining. Sorry, should have been wearing my glasses, or else I wouldn't have been like this looking at the phone. Thank you guys for joining. We were just here talking about, hey, Pet, thank you for joining in. We were here talking about mindset and how important your mindset is just in your daily life, not just in business practices, not only if you're just entering into the world of entrepreneurship, not only if you are a parent, just in general, your mindset completely matters on how you live your life and how you go through your day to day and how you feel, just your overall health in general. So, Miss Octavia Brooks, thank you so much. Can you tell everyone where they could find you?
Yes. I want to tell you one other thing that reinforces the new synaptic pathways, which I recommend subliminal audios for that. And it's a way of training your subconscious through repeated messages to your subconscious. Your subconscious is much more capable of receiving new information than your conscious mind is. It processes 10 times more than your conscious mind. I've actually even seen it up to 30,000 times more than your conscious mind. So when you use subliminal audios, what that means is that in the background of the audio, you're hearing some music, something nice. That's what your conscious mind can hear. And in the background, your subconscious is hearing thousands and thousands of positive messages. And they bring you into that reinforces the new direction that you want to go in. So that's another thing I provide to my clients in addition to some of these exercises. And that means that they can transition from the repeated recurring patterns into the new direction that they want to go in. And
Awesome.
so you can find me. I'm going to post this link in the, I don't know if you need to share that, but I just posted from the comments in Instagram. You can find me at Octavia.
There we go. I pinned the comments on the screen.
Yeah, thank you.
No problem.
So that's where you can find me. That link goes to a page that has a number of different subliminal audio topics that I've produced. And I am very particular. I've gotten a lot of mentorship about how to write the messages so that they are really appealing to the mind. You need a positive emotional reinforcement. You can't just use affirmations. Affirmations is really, really slow. They work, they help, everything helps. But without the positive emotional reinforcement of the affirmation, they don't sink in as well. So that's what these audios have. And I have a whole kit related to this for business people in specific. How do you manage your time? Awesome. How to prevent procrastinating, stop self-sabotaging, all of that. So between this link and going to my website directly, you can find out more about all of that.
Awesome. Fantastic. So you guys go ahead and check out the website. It's octaviabrooks.com /subliminal messages. And please go ahead and roam around on her page. She has a lot of great stuff on there. Go ahead and check it out. If they are trying to find you on social media, where would they look? Where is the best place to find you?
Right now, I'm most active on Facebook, and you can find me at Octavia Brooks 8 is me. I'm the only one that looks like this. And also Octavia Facebook, I am Octavia Brooks is my business page, but my personal profile is more active right now. And I participate in a lot of like entrepreneurial groups, introvert entrepreneur groups and things like that.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. This has been a great conversation. I really appreciate you being here with us. And definitely, you are welcome to come back at any time.
Like I said to you guys, I have other topics. We'll talk.
Oh, definitely. It'll be great. Like I said, the mindset piece is something that you use. It doesn't matter where you are in your business journey, whether you're just starting out, whether you are a multi-billionaire, you always need that mindset practice. So thank you so very much. All right, guys.
My pleasure. It's been so fun to meet your community. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's been a pleasure. Thanks. So you guys, I want you guys to go ahead and share this video. Like, comment, share it with someone who you know could use these messages, and follow Miss Octavia Brooks. And as usual, I'm gonna ask you guys to join the Facebook group. And please, guys, please participate in the Facebook group. Participate in the Facebook group. So it's JAM's Digital Marketing Systems for Entrepreneurs. So that is the name of the group. I've actually pinned it on the screen on Facebook. So if you have not yet joined our Facebook group, it's JAM's Digital Marketing Systems for Entrepreneurs. And with that, I am going to tell you guys thanks for joining us, and we are going to be signing off for tonight. Have a good one, guys.
Bye-bye. Thank you very much, Janice.
Oh, thank you.